In nature, survival is the goal. But what if your own body was your worst enemy? These animals don't just struggle to live, they're designed to fail. The pig that grows its own death. Imagine growing a weapon so deadly that it kills you instead of your enemies. That's the reality for the babirusa, a wild pig from Indonesia. Instead of tusks growing forward for defense, the babirusa's upper canines curve backward, straight toward its own skull. If the tusks aren't worn down or broken, they'll eventually pierce the pig's head, leading to a slow, painful death. It's like evolution gave them a time bomb and set the timer to whenever your luck runs out. When headbutting goes horribly wrong. Rams are built to smash into each other at full speed, a brutal way to prove dominance. But there's a catch. Their horns never stop growing. Sometimes they grow in the wrong direction, back toward their own skull. A ram could literally headbutt itself into an early grave. If the horn punctures the brain, game over. So while they're out here trying to win fights, some rams unknowingly have a weapon that's secretly planning to betray them. A fight to the death. Literally. When male reindeer fight, their massive antlers are their greatest weapon. But what happens when two fighters lock antlers and can't unlock them? That's a death sentence. If they can't break free, both reindeer are stuck, unable to eat or escape predators. Some starve to death. Others collapse from exhaustion, only to be finished off by wolves or bears. It's nature's version of a draw, except both contestants lose permanently. Dying from too much wool. You'd think being fluffy is harmless, but for sheep it can be deadly. If a sheep isn't sheared regularly, its wool keeps growing and growing and growing. Over time, excess wool traps heat, dirt, and even urine, creating the perfect breeding ground for infections and parasites. Some sheep end up so heavy that they can't stand, and if they fall on their backs, they might not be able to get up at all. In 2015, a sheep named Chris was found in Australia with 40 kilograms of wool. So much that if he hadn't been rescued, he would have suffocated under his own fluff. Mother Nature really should have added a self-shearing feature. Hoof problems that can end lives. Hooves are essential for survival, but here's the catch. Some animals can't maintain them on their own. Donkeys need their hooves trimmed, or they'll overgrow and curl, making it painful or impossible to walk. In the wild, that's a guaranteed death sentence. And deer? Their hooves are designed for rough terrain, not smooth ice. When winter comes, some deer find themselves slipping and falling, unable to stand back up. If they don't get help, they're stuck, an easy meal for predators or a slow, freezing death. So while humans worry about wearing the right shoes, some animals are literally dying because of their feet. Flipped over equals game over. Tortoises are built like tanks, slow, armored, and ancient-looking. But they have one fatal weakness. If they flip over, it's pretty much game over. A flipped tortoise struggles to turn itself upright. If it's stuck under the hot sun, it can literally cook in its own shell. If it's in the cold, it could freeze. And if it happens near predators, well, it's basically serving itself on a platter. Even worse, some male tortoises flip themselves on purpose while fighting over mates. If they lose the fight and can't flip back, they lose their life too. Too slow to survive. Sloths are the ultimate slow-motion creatures. It takes them up to a month to digest a single meal, and their top speed? A lightning-fast 0.24 kilometers per hour, 0.15 miles per hour. That slowness comes at a cost. Jaguars, harpy eagles, and even humans can just snatch them up like a slow-moving snack. Worse, some sloths have been known to mistake their own arm for a tree branch, grab it, and fall to their deaths. They're not just slow, they're living proof that sometimes nature just stops trying. So while humans complain about back pain, allergies, or wisdom teeth, at least our own bodies aren't actively plotting against us, right? If this blew your mind, drop a like and subscribe for more insane animal facts. Survival of the fittest, unless your body is your worst enemy.